Episode-4. Their second meeting. Outside the set of First Love, Rachel stood together with the reporters of various magazines. She was listening to their active discussion on the rumors about the famous Joshua Taylor. In the middle of the night yesterday, someone captured Mr. Taylor leaving his house, leaving his bride at home on their wedding night. From what I see, she must be unimportant to him. You sure? I originally thought that he actually chose to hide his marriage as he loved her too much, and he wanted to protect her from the eyes of the public. Hearing this, Rachel couldn't help but roll her eyes. Protect her? It was more like he wasn't interested in her. As she recalled the events of the night before, she felt that Joshua Taylor's attitude towards her was kind of weird. Why had he picked her when he wasn't even interested in her? Someone hit her arm as she was lost in her thoughts. Turning her head, she saw her colleague Penelope Diaz. She was speaking fiercely and smugly to her. Rachel, do you regret offending the chief editor? I told you so, but it's too late now. On the surface, Penelope Diaz always obediently followed the chief editor's lead. But actually, she was just trying to suck up to her. Rachel couldn't be bothered to entertain her. Penelope continued arrogantly, "Some people think they are superior and impressive just because they reported some big piece of news. But in this industry, who doesn't know that any gossip about our beloved actor Joshua is the hardest to attain? This time, you can just prepare to submit your resignation letter. Why is there no ending to this?" Rachel blinked her black eyes and replied, "Penelope, has no one ever told you that your voice has the same effect as a frog? It's just as noisy and annoying." "You!" Penelope was so furious that her face turned as red as a tomato. Rachel grinned and replied incisively, "The result can only be determined at the end. We won't know who will emerge as the winner until then." She had to continue her job as a reporter, so she wasn't going to admit defeat so easily. Penelope sneered. "Wow. You sound like you know who Mrs. Taylor is. Okay then, if you have the ability, try finding out her identity." Rachel really wanted to retort, but she was interrupted when someone suddenly exclaimed, "The most loved actor of America, Joshua Taylor, is here!" The voice worked as if it were a predetermined signal, and the crowd suddenly exploded with excitement, running forward with raised cameras. When Rachel turned her head, she saw a black vanity van driving slowly in her direction. The filming crew banned reporters from entering the set. Thus, all the reporters had waited outside to try their luck and capture Joshua on camera. However, as he entered and left the filming set by car, they usually weren't able to click his pictures at all. As she watched the car slowly move in her direction, staggering away from the reporters, Rachel heaved a sigh of relief. Joshua Taylor wouldn't have seen her, right? That is what she thought. However, her relief did not stay on for long. At that moment, someone behind her shoved her suddenly, and she flew towards the car uncontrollably. Screech! The car immediately screeched to a halt. Rachel was slammed onto the car, and she felt as if all of her bones were about to shatter. At that instant, the car stopped. Her face was smacked right on the rear window of it. The extreme pain came from her arm, but her first instinct was to stand up straight and leave as fast as she could. Unluckily, things never went her way, and the window of the car was rolled down. Behind the window was pent-up coldness. As Rachel noticed him, her irises contracted. It was Joshua Taylor, staring at her coldly. There was no expression on his divinely crafted face. Amongst the crowd, Penelope lowered her hand, and a smug smile flashed on her face. Everyone in the industry knew that Joshua hated being hounded by the paparazzi. Other artists might interact with the reporters once in a while, but Taylor had never shown leniency. Once, when someone had followed him, Joshua caught him, and the person was beaten black and blue by him. He gave it the name of self-defense. When the matter was brought to court, it ended without any conclusion. Therefore, this time, Rachel was definitely dead meat.